Welcome back, everybody. So we're kicking off the session while we wait for other people to join as the session goes on. Um, my name once again is Olatife Odiyomi, and I work with Business Support Unit at Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. At Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, we give access to market opportunities to business owners. We give financial access to finance to business owners. We also have different programs for different business owners, like those that are in the tech space. We have Lagos Innovates, where you have your budding tech ideas, and you want to bring those tech ideas to life. Lagos Innovates is the go-to for you. We have access to finance, like I said earlier, for different business status, in the sense that different businesses in like the MSMEs, the nano businesses, the micro enterprise startups, we have different loan programs for each of these businesses. And for our access to market opportunities, we give access to market opportunities in the sense that we bring our business owners to a particular spot. In that way, we are bringing the market, we are bringing the market to them, instead of them looking for these customers. We bring these customers to them at specific locations, at different places, and different times. So those are the programs that we have at LSETF. And for today, we are going to be speaking about data-driven decisions for MSMEs. And then our facilitator for that session is Mr. Victor Asidolo. Mr. Fashola Oba Victor Asidolo is an entrepreneur and co-founder of Local Eats Africa, a platform helping local restaurants to grow through technology, improved management systems, and access to customers online. A former corporate banker, tech entrepreneur, and winner of the Budget Africa Civic Tech National Hackathon. He has helped support 150 business restaurants, particularly women-owned businesses across Lagos, Ibadan, and Abeokuta. Under his leadership, Local Eats has delivered over 30,000 orders and built a community of 80,000 plus users. He's passionate about driving technology adoption for local businesses across Africa. So let's welcome Mr. Fashola Obasidolo as he takes the session. Mr. Victor, you can take over the session now.
Thank you very much, Mary. I'm glad to be here, and thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here, and good day, everyone. To everyone joining right here on Zoom and on other platforms that is streaming is taking place, and for also those that will be watching maybe later. I want to say thank you. My name is Fashola Oba Ashodolo, and then so I'll be sharing my screen, and I also will be interested in knowing for those that are joining us, because I'll be looking at the chart from time to time. Please, if possible, you can just on the chat box put out your name and what you do. It will help me come back and forth to know the kind of audience that we have, and also connect the information, the training session, to maybe your business. Thank you. So I'll be sharing my screen right now. But just to do a bit of confirmation, for those that are joining, can you hear me? Please, if you can hear me, a thumbs up, a message on the chat will help me know we are on the same page. Am I loud and clear? If you can hear me, please. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Emmanuel. All right, thank you, Damilola. All right, so from the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, so truth has been established. All right, so I'll proceed right now to sharing my screen. So we will be looking at the topic which has to do with data-driven decision making for MSMEs. And I'll also be sharing some practical stories that go across different businesses and different sectors and also MSME. But the first thing we have to identify is that every startup starts as a small business. Every startup, especially in a growing and developing country, every business will start out majorly as a as an MSME, as a small business. And because of that, we'll be looking at the importance of data in decision making that can take a business from a startup, an MSME, to becoming a major competitor in whatever field. So take your business, for instance. What exactly do you do? What sector are you playing in? And every business requires decision. Business growth, business dying, business moving forward, business stagnating, they all hinge on decision. And the decisions we make about businesses are what defines the business. Now, but since decisions that we make define the business that we run, what informs our decision? So that is exactly what we'll be looking at. And then how will you be able to make better decisions for your business? How should you make decisions for your business? We'll start with the topic which has to do with data-driven decision. So we break it down. What is data? Data is raw fact. Data is raw fact. If I say that Fashola is a boy, okay? So the question, if I come to this meeting now and I say Fashola is a boy, so the next question is, okay, so, so how does that connect with the training? So until I am able to connect that information, that's not the information, until I am able to use that data to make sense with this training, it is data, it is raw fact, it is unprocessed. The moment I'm able to say that Fashola is a man, Fashola is a male, and the training by LSTF are all done by male. Or I'll say Fashola is a male. Most trainings in LSTF are done by female. Fashola is one of the very few males that have handled trainings masterclass with LSTF. That makes sense now. So that is now a processed information. So data are standalone thoughts. They are standalone well, I'm trying not to use the word information because information is what you call processed data. When data has been processed, when data has been properly organized, when data makes sense, it becomes information. When data doesn't make sense, when data doesn't communicate, when data is only showing you what it is, then that is data, raw, unorganized fact. Now, as much as possible, I would like to be coming right here to look at the chart and also see if you have questions. I know there will be question time, but if you are not hearing me or anything, please just put out the information there. And if I say certain things and you want to take note of them in terms of maybe calling me back to explain further or stuff, please put in the chat. I'll be going back and forth from the presentation and looking at the chat so that we can engage. And as much as possible, I want to also ask some questions. So we are building the foundation of data-driven decision. So we are starting out with understanding data. For your business, what exactly is the data that is available for your business? And how are you supposed to turn this data to information, to insight? How are you supposed to make this data make sense for your business and for you? How are you supposed to collect this raw information? Because we said data is a collection of raw, unorganized facts, raw information. I'm using the word information with quotation marks. So now, how are you supposed to collect the data? How do businesses that have grown collect this data? Data is not information, which I've clarified earlier. Number one. Number two, data is not a tool. Excel is not data. That you use Excel for your business, or you use spreadsheet for your business, does not mean that you have data. Any data, let's go back. Any data that is not a fact that can be processed to make sense for your business and influence decision for your business is not your data. So business is one of a business person, no matter the level you are, you must be very, very purpose driven. It's either going to be black and white for you. It's a game of interest. It's a game of profit. It's a game of growth. It's a game of market share. It's a game of product getting to the hands of your customers. It's a game of collaboration. It's a game of competition. It's not a game of emotion. So you have to be clear that you use tools for your businesses, and those tools gather certain information. If those information can't be used to make decisions, or if the decisions those information are producing are not giving the desired result, then the information on those tools are not your data. The data on those tools are not your data. Data is not a dashboard. You can build all your dashboards using Claude, using whatever AI tools you use right now, spreadsheets, Excels, whatever applications are out there. That really does not mean much. Data is not your dashboard. Data is the important, interesting, business influencing facts. So we are still on data, identifying what exactly is data. So I want to ask a question. For your business, can you just drop one or two things that you think are important data, that if decisions are made based on this data, if I can get more insight about this particular data on my business, it can influence decision that will impact my business? Can I see, please? You can put out, you can write in the comment section what data, maybe one or two, maybe, in fact, let's drop it down to two and three. 2 to 3 important data that you should be gathering and collecting for your business that can influence greatly your business if you have the right process, the right information, if that data will make sense and you make decision on that data, that it will greatly impact your business. And if you want to please say anything, I would like you to maybe raise up your hand or say something about the data. What kind of data are important to your business? We said financial data, market and customer analysis data. Yes, but I want you to be more specific. I want you to be more like straight. Hit just one word. For instance, for me, I'll tell you customers, customers, customers. If I say customers, remember data doesn't make sense. But if I can have more information about that data, if I can get a lot of facts about that data and I make decision on it, then it will greatly impact my business. One is customer. Customer. Any other thing? Customer analysis data. Yes, I'll take customer. Let's take away the analysis. Let's take away the analysis data. Customer is an important data. When you now say customer analysis, you are no longer talking about data. You have moved out of data because we are taking it like a step and building on it. Cash flow. So I'll say cash. Cash flow. Yes, that's still cool. Yes. Understanding your money, how money come in and out. So tracking the money that is coming in, tracking the money that is going out. That's a great one. So now let us now move to the next information, which is data-driven business flow. Now we've understood what data is. I want to share a brief around how data drives business growth, how data drives business flow, how data drives business information. So So, for every business, it starts with an idea. Your business right now starts with an idea. The business you are going to run later will start from an idea. If you are going to move your idea to becoming a business, it has to go through a flow. And this flow, we are looking at the data-driven business flow. How your business will move from how that business that's going to end up being a business will move from an idea to a growing business. The first is the idea. Now, the second is the product development stage. Now, every idea you have about your business, the the next phase of that business must focus on functionality. This is what data has proven to show. Businesses that start off with functionality tend to do better. So the first one is idea. The second one is product development with focus on functionality. With focus on functionality. A lot of businesses, a lot of people, when they want to start out business, they get the idea, the next thing they go to branding. They get the idea, the next thing they go to marketing. They get the idea, the next thing they are designing logos. Now, are those right moves? Yes. Those are good moves. But we'll look at some history of some businesses that moved through a data-driven flow and how data was what was moving the business. How data was the key driver to influencing the growth of the business, introduction of new products, and not marketing, and not branding, and not what other things you will mention around the business, and not even personnel. Now, every idea must have a specific function, must meet a specific need, must solve a particular problem. And for that to happen, the business, which is a small business, a developing business, at all times must conserve its energy to focus on a unique area, which has to do with the functionality. I will explain. A tailor, a fashion house, somebody that is about to start a fashion business, and the first thing they do, they understand it, they know they've trained, they want to go into fashion. And the next thing they want to do is not about sewing clothes for the people. It's about displaying styles. It's about having a good showroom. You've not gotten one customer, you have a showroom. You are starting. You've not gotten returning customer. You are looking for a great location, right? You've not gotten one customer. You're already building technology. You're already talking about influencers, paying for marketing. I've already done great designs of logos. Now, ideas, when they go to functionality, it creates opportunity to generate data early in the business. Businesses that generate core data early tend to use this data to make better information about their business and their product. When you go from idea and you skip functionality, or you downtone on functionality, and you go into branding, into marketing, into sales, into partnerships, what happens is that by the time you are now having to deal with the core of your business, which is the real product, developing the product, making the product work, making people use the product and give you information. You have exposed yourself too much, and you have carried so much details, so much burden of running a business, that you will now be struggling to understand which data you should be capturing and which data you should be working with. So the first, after an idea, the next is that your first business must have to focus on functionality, which is what is called MVP, minimum viable product. The essence of minimum viable product is that this is the core part of the business at its earliest stage or its earliest phase, that the information I get from this will help to improve this core, and every other development that will come on it will be building on this foundation. There is the foundation of your business. The foundation of a school, if you are starting a school and you want to run a school, the foundation of the school is not IT. The foundation of the school is the quality of education. And the quality of education will tell from the kind of teachers, the kind of curriculum you run, the kind of what the students learn, right? So a school with a good building, with a good computer system, with a good IT system, with a good brand, but poor teaching method, poor curriculum, will fail at the end of the day. But a small school with the core functionality of an education system, a school system, will only build on that and begin to add other parts that have to do with branding, that has to do with IT, that has to do with other things, culture, and the rest. So, in beginning, to have a better data-driven business, right, you have to first go back to the core of your business. The core of your business. You have to ask yourself right now, this business that I am, what is the core of it? The core is defined by the users, not by you. If I want to start a transport business, the core of my users are people that want to move from point A to point B. So the core of my business must be able to move people from point A to point B. The moment I have a roller coaster that is moving and going nowhere, it's just turning around in circles, I am moving, but I am not moving people from point A, where they are, to where they want to be. I'm not moving people from Lake Ikeja to Lekki. I am not moving people from Lagos to Osogbo. I'm not moving anybody from Lagos to Abuja. I am not in the transport business. I'm in tourism and hospitality. Because all information I'll be getting from the people that use the product will be speaking about hospitality and not transportation. And the information I'm getting, if I'm making decision on them, they will not be improving the product, the core. So the first thing is about taking time to go back to your ideas and ask yourself, what is the core? Have you taken a detour? Have you taken a diversion from the core and the foundation of your business, and you are now turning into a social media influencer? Have you turned out of your core functionality of your product, and you have now turned to a marketer, a content creator? The ideas from content creation may not necessarily connect to improving the functionality. Improved functionality will always, always, always lead to better data that will lead to better business development. I'm going to make one other case, the Chinese business model. How many of us remember Chinko phones? many of us remember Chinko phones? Okay, somebody's hand is raised. Yes, Joseph. Hello, Joseph. Are you there? I can see your hand is raised. You can unmute and speak, please. Can anybody hear me? Is Joseph there? Okay, just to check again, can anybody hear me? If you can hear me, please, I would like to get a confirmation. Maybe an emoji. Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you. So, I think when Joseph is back, or maybe during the question session. So, if you can, I'll pick up from where I stopped. How many of us remember the Chinko? When you say Chinko in Nigeria, we all know what we're talking about. The Chinko phones, when somebody uses Chinko phones, so you are using Chinko phone, it was not brandable. It was not like you are not the in person. Those phones were basically, you make your calls, they will make the calls. They will ring very loud. They were not very strong, but they perform the basic function of a phone. Today, can you look at the Chinese phones? Can you call them Chinko phones now? Because when you say Chinko phones, then it depicts low quality. Can you remember the last time the word Chinko was used for Chinese branded phones now? No more. Why? They focused and started out with core functionality. They started out with core functionality. So it was easy, and it was easy to use the information of the user that has seen basic function to now make more demands that are not basic. So when you start out with an idea and you go to product development, your, your focus must be on functionality. Functionality is exactly what you need to be able to generate data. That's exactly where I'm going. Functionality for MSMEs, for small businesses, functionality is exactly what you need to generate the right data for your business at the earliest stages. Then the next thing is what we call instrumentation. Instrumentation is what you now build after you have built your MVP, or as a starting business. MVP is not just a 1 year thing. There are products that can be, if you are in a new location, whether you are in school, whether you are in fashion, whether you must start out again as a new business. That's exactly the model of Apple. Apple will tell you that mode. They will go back to startup, the most valuable company in the world. We go back doing anything, growing anything. The process remains. You are going to be getting some information. Now, those information is called that's what we call instrumentation. Instrumentation engineering. It's a system of your business, around your business. This core, you want to run a medtech. What do you call it now? Medtech. Maybe you want to run a platform that will help to provide technological services. Maybe you are focused on Toyota cars, you want to focus on automobile, different kind of automobiles. Now, what do? Your core area, your core functionality, you have to think about it. What is the cost service you want to offer in this engineering, in this as a mechanic that is adopting technology to serve a wider audience? Is it a marketplace for roadside mechanics? Is it the market you want to bring into your system? Now, what is cost service? When you have designed that cost service and you focus on it, and that is what you call your MVP, the next thing is that as these users begin to have the basic service, they will begin to make other requests. They will begin to make complaints. That is the next part you now go to, which is you now build instruments to observe the various activities, to observe efficiency, to observe lapses, to observe frequency. How often are people using it? When are people using it? How are people using it? What do people want from it? Now, a system will now be designed around it to capture, to observe, to measure these functions. And this information will now be used to improve the overall system. That is the decision. So a business without instrumentation will have data that are missing, and you will not be able to collect data to make informed decision. Now, after instrumentation, we are going to dwell a lot on instrumentation because for SMEs and small businesses and growing businesses, instrumentation is a core that runs the engine. A lot of times it looks like the instrumentation is not doing much because instrumentation don't work. By the time I get to the automobile part, where we look at the automobile industry and we look at how instrumentation was used in the development of cars, you will understand that it looks like these are the tools that are not doing anything. These are the applications that are not doing anything. These are the people that don't seem to be working, but they are the core secrets, the core engine, the lifeline of the product development and the business development. After instrumentation, you go to business development. These are now the decisions that are made from the data that has been captured by the instrumentation. So when decisions are going to be made, a business decision must be made based on data and insights from that data. Validation to continue, validation to exit, validation to stop a product, validation to discontinue the production of something, validation to go into a new product must not be based on feeling. And most of the time must not be based on only external influence. Internal growth is very systemic and it drives business development faster. Now, we'll take a story. Data-driven decision making starts with instrumentation. So I'm focusing on instrumentation. We are talking about data-driven decision making. We already understand that you must first gather data. You have to first capture data. How do you capture data for your business? And that's what we call instruments. Instruments do I have to capture data? And how are those data I capture telling stories? How are they giving me information? How am I getting insights? And what exactly are these data? Look at the last few decisions you've made in your organization. Where did the data came from that influenced it? Was it an instant decision? Because for a startup that doesn't have a board, for a startup that doesn't have a board of directors and doesn't have an advisory board, what do you think are the board members of a startup that is still growing? Your best and effective board members are the instrument you have designed to capture data and to tell you exactly what is happening. Now, just to recap, what is instrumentation. These are devices or applications that observe, monitor, record, and track different parts of the business activities. A lot of times we focus on cash, we focus on sales, which is good, which is one of the data. So you have a bookkeeping, a record keeping application that captures your expenses, that captures your sales. You use Excel, or you use it. Some people even use Google Form. Just capture your sales, capture your expenses, capture your sales, capture your expenses. A number of times, some people just want to use those tools so that they can generate receipts. But you have to understand that beyond the basic of the cash flow and your expenses and your sales, which is one, there are other important activities that must be captured. Begin to look at your business. How many customers walked into your business? How many inquiries do you have in a day? What are the inquiries about? Which sector, which part of your business are they speaking to? Are these feedbacks, are these inquiries talking to? How many people go to your site? Where are they going to on the site? How many people are following you on Instagram? Where are they following you from? How many of those people following you have gone to your site? Now, or how many have made inquiries of your product? How many people are looking at your status? These are instruments. I'm showing some of these things that you will see. So because without instrumentation, usage cannot be tracked, and growth cannot be tracked. So you won't be able to know when it's dipping, when it's going low, when things are dropping, or when things are improving. Let's look at now the story of the 1910s. We're looking at the business lesson from automobile industry. The first, in 1847, the earliest cars, what we call dashboard in cars today. If you look at your dashboard in your car, you are going to see things like, now you have cameras in your dashboard that looks at your cars from behind when you are reversing. You have dashboard that shows your speedometer, that shows your battery, whether it's charged or not. You have your radio, you have TV, you can connect to the Wi-Fi. A whole lot of things are now on your dashboard. You have your Google Meet, your Google Map on your dashboard, and in what location it is. You have car trackers. You have other things in your dashboard. But what was actually the beginning of dashboard? Dashboard was actually functional based. It was to protect the drivers from the front wheel of debris. That was the beginning of dashboards. That was the beginning of your car dashboard in 1947. It was to protect the driver, not to capture any data. Now, before then, there's been development of cars up until this point. But you will see something in 1901. The first dashboard speedometer was introduced. The first instrument was designed on the dashboard. The first instrumentation was designed in the car, which was to track speed. Now, just look at speedometer alone. Have you traveled from Lagos to Ibadan? Even in some estates, you will see speed limits. Have you seen your last mile? Have you seen your traffic wardens? Have you seen people on the road that will tell you whether you are? Have you seen that government generates revenue now from traffic offenders? Why? Because there have been systems, instrumentations were designed to measure, to observe, and to capture. Now jobs are created. Now, what I'm trying to show is that if you focus on improving instrumentation in your business, there are new businesses that are going to come out from that business. It is not just going to have a direct impact. It's going to have a broader impact. The more data you are able to capture and the more sense you are able to make on your data, from your data, the more product you are going to produce. You are not just going to produce better products. You are going to produce more products. I'll give you a clear example. So I'm the founder of Local Eats Africa, right? So we focus on local meals. But that was not actually where we started from. We started from helping businesses, restaurants majorly, and supermarkets. We build applications, websites, and e-commerce sites for supermarkets, for restaurants. Then we manage those platforms for them to take orders and all that. This is what we realized. So there is a particular supermarket and that we manage their e-commerce, we take their orders and all that. We started interacting and forging partnership between logistic companies and supermarkets, right? Because we saw people were making orders and the supermarkets were unable to deliver, and we wanted, and it was affecting the impact, the benefit of the supermarkets. Without deliveries, what you are doing online really doesn't make much sense. I'm talking about 2017, 2018, 2019. Then we had another restaurant that was beside the supermarket, and we handled that. We also, that was part of our portfolio, right? So we're handling them, we're managing their e-commerce site, taking their orders, facilitating logistics for them, for deliveries, for customers on their behalf. Now, we now have customers that go to buy from supermarket, a separate business, and they now say, I noticed that there is another restaurant. So they did not know that they are talking to the same company managing these two businesses side by side. So they are talking to us managing the supermarket, and they are trying to they made an order from the supermarket, and they say, please, there is a restaurant beside you. Can you please help me take an order and add it to what I have ordered from supermarket and deliver? Because we have the two stuffs, we handle them. Then what we did was we built a platform that integrated all our portfolio brands, which are supermarkets, local restaurants together. Do you understand? Now, how did that idea come about? That idea came about from how users interacted. And that is also what fueled and opened our understanding to what we call today Local Eats Africa. That is exactly how Local Eats Africa came about. From the user's perspective, that was we being able to capture information on what users are saying, how users want to interact, what users' needs are. So the data bet a product that became a standalone. Think about your company very well. Think about your product very well. You need to find your first speedometer to capture your speed. It could be in terms of transaction flow. It could be in terms of what kind of data. All customers are not the same. You have to be able to, do you capture customers by how much they spend or by how many times they return? A customer can come 5 times and spend 200,000 on your product. Another customer can come 20 times and spend 60,000. They are not the same customer. They are not the same. And those are two different data. So in the moment you begin to build and focus on building instruments, when I say instrument, don't make it look too hard. It can be a simple Excel to capture. It can be a simple tool, but you must use that tool. You must monitor. Remember, an instrument observes and monitors and records and captures and stores. It is now for you to analyze that information. A lot of times, people don't read their data. People don't study their data. In fact, people don't think that they should have staff, members of their team that will record information for them or capture information. Do you capture your sales all from the beginning? Do you capture your expenses all from the beginning? Do you have your customers' phone numbers all from the beginning? Do you arrange your customers by region? These are data. So if a customer comes to order from you, if you have 10 customers today online Where are they coming from? Are they from Lagos Island or from Lagos mainland? Those are two different regions. You do delivery outside Lagos. You are proud. Your people order your products outside Lagos. You are always going to the bus stop or sending somebody to do delivery or calling a logistic company. Where are your orders coming from? Which platform, which system, which location is doing more than what? Which one has dropped? Your orders from Ibadan, what time do they come? What time of the day? What time of the year do they come? What season? Which area in Ibadan are they coming from? How did they get to know you from Ibadan? The more instruments you have, the more data you capture, the more detail you have on the data you capture, the better your decisions in what to do next. Maybe your business is supposed to physically be in Ibadan by now. Maybe you need a virtual assistant in Ibadan that will actually handle physical marketing for you. Maybe you need to have somebody in Port Harcourt right now that should be handling physical marketing because you already do have some customers in Port Harcourt or Abuja. Are you really understanding your data? Do you have the necessary instruments to tell you that, look, you did 2 million, 25% of your orders did not come from Lagos. They came from another place, not just outside Lagos. Outside Lagos is not data. Where outside Lagos? Some of your products should be in Ghana. Some of your products should be in Togo. Do you know where they are ending up? A friend of mine built a product that tracks movement. He built a device, it's a technology that tracks movement of drugs and any FMCG product. So if you buy a product now, the thing is like a chip. It's in the product. It tracks everywhere where it ends up. That's a very powerful instrument. It may not look like, if they come to market that kind of product to you, you may not see the need for it, but you will later realize that there are a lot of information lost in the way because you don't have enough instruments. And what happened when you don't have instruments? You will always come down to check. So, do you know that when there was no fuel gauge in cars, how did you think people were measuring whether their fuel is less, or still okay? Do you know what they do? They will come down from the car and chook stick inside the fuel gauge, the fuel tank, and they will check whether there is still enough fuel. That's exactly what they did. Imagine you are traveling from here to Abuja. How many times are you going to come down? How will you even know the amount, how many liters of fuel that will take you when there is nothing to measure? Because if you put the fuel, you don't even know how many fuel you put in. Instrumentation, they are very, very important for business. Now, importance of instrumentation in business. So we are talking about data, but I'm zooming in on instrumentation, capturing data. Capturing data. One of the importance of instrumentation in business is impactful marketing. Impactful marketing. Your customers are not everywhere and they are not everybody. As a startup, how do you filter and identify your core customer? It's not an idea. It's a competitor's customer may not be your customer, even though you sell the same product. That's the truth. You have to identify that the first thing, once you have your product out, the moment you have your product out, you need to have a data that segments and captures your customers. When do they order? Where are they ordering from? Are they ordering from Instagram or WhatsApp? I'll tell you for free. When we're doing this online, when we started this supporting, providing these digital marketing services for businesses, it was not just digital marketing like running ads. We were actually taking orders for customers and fulfilling them for businesses, I mean. So one thing we realized was that customers would rather chat with you and order than go to your site and order by themselves. How many of you agree with that? If you want to order, you like to chat with people on Instagram. When you want to order, you prefer to chat with the person. Why? because trust level is low. Now, internet was not like this in 2017, 2015, 2016. The number of people that order, there were less logistics as we have it now. A lot of things are not mature. Your business is always going to start. Where it is now, there's another level of maturity. The more data you capture, you are going to actually drive the maturity of your business and the sector. So, because we realized that a lot of customers wanted to chat, we introduced live chat on the site. But we now also realize that no, they were chatting on live chat, but no. It is actually those that order on the site that use the live chat to chat. Those that want to order, they want to talk to somebody. In fact, when they want to just build trust and they want to connect, they are used to the physical ordering. So you can't just move them from physical shoppers to digital shoppers and they will just come and order by themselves. No, they have to go through a blended approach. So we introduced what we call blended marketing, which is you come to the site, we have a button. We made the button very big. We made areas where you can just click it to take you to WhatsApp, and then we continue the conversation. But we now built a system, understanding we have what we call in-house and direct. So in-house is if I supported you to order, if you saw the stuff online, but you came to WhatsApp to order, I tagged you. Then if you order by yourself, self-ordering, that one is different. So we are now weighing how many people are ordering supported and how many people are ordering by themselves. That data will help us to know. Then we will now begin to build system around that data to say, if people are ordering by themselves, how many customers can we attend to? If we want to serve 10,000 customers a day, how many staff are we going to have to handle this high number? Then you start developing measures to move those customers from supported to self-ordering. Without data, you will say your website is not working. Whereas it's because you are not measuring the right information. You are not observing. You are not capturing the necessary details. Remember the first thing I said, all data are not your data if they are not speaking to impact, direct impact on your business. So we just talked about how instrumentation, that is the ability to capture better data, can influence and impact your marketing. The second is competitive advantage. I want to ask a question. I would have loved to stop sharing. Who is your biggest customer? Who is your biggest competitor? Yourself, people that sell products like you, or the government? Who do you think is your biggest competitor? Yourself, people that sell products or offer the same services like yourself, or the government? All right, Joseph, yourself. Any other person? And if you don't agree with Joseph, I would like you to counter one. I would like you to say something. Any other answer, please? Who do you think is the biggest competitor in your business? Yourself, people that sell products like yourself, or the government? Because you have to know that government is also your competitor, right? Government is always your competitor with their policies. Yourself. But do you know what? Now, I will ask you another question. When you introduce a new product to your business, actually, who influence it? Most times, it is what your competitors do. When we say the market has moved, who moved the market? When we say things are not done this way, who changed it? If it's not you, it's somebody else that has data that changed it. While you are still stuck offering the same product and you don't have instruments to capture data and you are not studying the data you capture, you are not improving the data you are capturing, somebody else that is neck deep on capturing better data are not just sales and expenses, not just sales and expenses, not just sales and expenses. That person will change the market and you will follow that person, but you do not know exactly what influenced that change. I will ask you another question. I will ask us another question. I'm actually also challenging us because no matter your business and no matter where you work, business is a game of interest and business can change the world. Your business can change the world. Your business can change how people do things. Your business can change culture. But it will not change because you work so hard on the job. It will change because you work so hard using the data you capture and improving the data you capture to make better decisions. At all times, data will be right. At every time. Every time, data will be right. If you like, go and sell hot tea. Go and sell hot tea in Lagos traffic. Data has proved over and over that they will not drink hot tea in Lagos traffic. But you can sell tea, not hot tea. You can sell tea actually, not hot tea. So you might be selling hot tea and all the data needs to help you do is to remove hot and sell the tea. Data is very important. So instead of focusing on your competitor, better instrumentation for your business will help you to improve your business by yourself. And you will be competing against your yesterday. You will be improving your yesterday. When businesses no longer grow, the company becomes boring. Staff no longer become productive and motivated. People like to work. Look, growth creates motivation. Growth creates motivation. Growth creates motivation. But what creates growth? What creates growth? Data, insight, information. Your growth is not in comparison first with an external competitor. Your growth is in comparison with your yesterday. And what influences the change from yesterday to today? If you have customers that you serve, you are one of the most luckiest human being in business. That means you have insight no other person has. Customers talk to you, customers use your product. Come on, you are in the right place. All you need to do is you need better instruments to capture that information. Don't focus so much on your product at the expense of the growth of the product. More mass production, no product development. Imagine iPhone still mass producing iPhone, what now? iPhone 10. Imagine iPhone, Apple, still producing MacBook 2014. What version of your product are you? If you are going to look at your product, your business, what version are you now? By internal influence. Because if you focus a lot about you with your data, competing and improving yourself and your product and your business, you will later find out that you might just be ahead of every other person that is an external competitor. The next thing is operational efficiency and productivity. With better data, why do you resume your work the time you resume? Why do you close the time you close? Are you closing when customers are coming? Are you closing when customers are coming? We are talking business, not personal life. Are you closing your shop when customers are closing? There are certain businesses that must open during holidays, hospitality businesses. You cannot run a food business and you are closing when people are going on holiday. Where will they eat? Those that are going to visit them during holiday, don't you know they want to go out? You run hotel, you run a lounge, you run a food stuff, and you are shutting down to go and have dirty December. When people are coming and they need to eat, that is when you should be running your ads. You don't run your ads when your sales are low. You run your ads when the market is activated. How do you know when the market is activated if you don't have data? Studies show in the food industry, studies show that what's it called? February, is it 14 now? Valentine's Day is the highest grossing day for any food business. Highest grossing day. Whatever you sell, as far as it is food, Valentine's Day in the whole world, no other day beats that day for selling of food. That's data over time. So you must, if you run food business, you must plan, you must look at your own data. Is it connecting? We run food business and we see it connects. So you plan it. Valentine cannot catch you unaware. How do you run your shift at work if you have staff? How do you run your shift? There are some of your staff that should not be coming to the office, but you still want them to come every day because you are not looking at data. How do you know your most productive staff or your most productive team member? How do you know your most productive, your highest selling product? Highest selling product in different ways, not in terms of the number of orders alone, but also in terms of the number of revenue and also in terms of the number of profits. Some product may not sell so much, but they will give you more profits. You have 3 line of kind of clothing. Some may not give you more orders, like 50 pieces of this, 50 that, or 500 this, but the 1 or 2, they are giving you more marginal profits. So understanding the product segmentation across different data sets is important. You have to build instruments. How do you do that? This takes me to something I want to say, which has to do with, as I round up to take some questions. Number one, the question you might be asking now is, where do I start from? Where do I start from? There is no magic to it. A lot, you can start manually, but any data you capture that is not easy to retrieve, that method, please, it's outdated. If you write in a book, and when you now need to get the information, you don't have it. Maybe you need to look at the information. And in business, as business people, ideas come in different ways. I'm very practical. You can get an idea inside church or inside mosque or inside the bus or inside while driving. At times, you may have to, because you have an idea. At times, you may have to step out of somewhere and go and check something your mind just captured. If you need to retrieve that data, if it's not in your fingertip, my brothers and sisters, I don't think you should be using that method to capture data by this time, 2026. Data must be properly, easily stored and easily retrievable. That is one of the easy methods. You went to school, for those of us, if you go to university, right, you use the library. We were taught use of library. Did you understand the catalog that we were taught? How to find books and how to return books, how to borrow books. Those are the methods that are still being in play in business. If you cannot store it properly and you cannot retrieve it easily, don't use that method. That's number one. Number two, every data you are capturing, it should be in a living system. That means you can add more things to it. So I'm capturing cost. If I use Excel today to capture data, I should be able to learn another thing and add to that Excel. Right? I should be able to add to it, and I should, if I'm only capturing sales and expenses, then I should be able to go to categorizing my product, adding category to my product. If I add category to my product, I should be able to add who attended to the customer or customer detail for that product. If I add customer detail to that product, I should be able to add repeat customers. Now, there are tools that are available for us at our company. We are a tech company focused on food and SMEs. We have a product called the Clara POS. You can check it out, clara.com.ng. For SMEs, you can capture, and we are constantly improving new features, adding new features. You can start. There are other products out there. You can even check ChatGPT and ask for good data capturing application for business intelligence. Just write some stuff like that there. or you can explain to ChatGPT what exactly you want to do. So but you must be able to capture product by all means, capture data by all means. Then the other thing has to now do with data insights, because we've talked about capturing, because a lot of times people don't capture. You may need to introduce not just the tool. Even if you introduce an application, you may need to introduce a person to your business to do the capturing. Don't say that because the person is not going to do work in terms of, maybe I'll just keep using things like a school, things like fashion, something. You might even be in tech. You might even be offering services. You are building IT services, building websites, or building applications for businesses. But really, you are not building a business. You have not turned that idea and that skill into a proper business. Because how many people are coming? Where are they coming from? How are they coming? Who is capturing it? What is your revenue that on every product you do? So you must be able to have it. Remember, there is a wise word that says, anything you cannot measure, you cannot grow it. You cannot scale it. Anything you cannot measure, you cannot scale it. Anything you cannot measure, you cannot scale it, or you cannot grow it. You cannot improve on it. So it is important to focus not just on the decision, because what influences the decision is as important as the decision you are making, or even more. Now, in business, I think I've said this, you don't make decision based on data, but based on the information that that data provides. You don't just say, I have 8,000 customers. People that sign up on your product, they are not customers if they are not buying. So you have to be able to understand that. That the fact that you made a sales of maybe 10 million or 5 million does not really mean that. You have to be able to data that cannot be compared. Data that cannot be compared. If you can't compare this month versus last month, that information you want to make might not be insightful. So data must be comparable. You must be able to compare. Beware of data without reference and comparison. Beware of data without reference and comparison. So this is where I would want to stop for now, and I will take some questions, and they can lead me for me to share some other things around automation, development, and growth. Um, so if you have any question, please, I'll be glad to take them. Any question, please? I don't know if people are having issues with them. You can raise your hand, please. You can raise your hand if you have any question. You might want to share maybe stuff around your business, or maybe an idea you're having, and you want to get some clarity around how to make decisions on them, where to get data from, or how to capture your data, or how to make decisions with the data you have. Any question around your business or the work you do, I'll be glad to share anything I know or I have. Okay, I'm not sure I'm seeing any response or any question. I'm not sure I'm seeing any question. Questions. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Mommy, I think at this point, I would like to hand over back to you. Okay, what instrument can we use to make data decisions, such as Excel, since Excel is not data? Okay, so what application? Because now, what kind of business do you do? So, because we have to speak specifically in terms of what you do. For a school, for instance, there are different tools, there are different instruments that you have to be able to capture. So it can help me to answer your question more specifically. How can we gather in the beauty salon? Okay, so how can we gather data in the beauty salon? Okay, let me answer this question first. Shoyoye Adeola Olajumoke. So take a beauty salon. First of all, you are running a physical space, right? Now, you want to know one thing I would like you to also identify is how many customers do you serve in a week? I know you would rather say customers are most of your customers are they come over the weekend. But how many of your customers work Monday to Friday? Because you know a number of times you might be overpacked. Your salon might be overpacked over the weekend. But everybody just believe that by culture, I should cut my hair or I should make my hair over the weekend. A number of times, people have in the morning you may be less busy. Mondays may be some of your lightest days. It's not because even the people that want to do hair, they've losing their hair or they already know they've just a mark weekend for it. But they have time over the weekend. And there might be how many customers are you losing or are dissatisfied because when they come to your salon, when it's that tight during the weekend, they don't get served early. When they come to your salon, how many of them work full time, 9 to 5, Monday to Fridays? How many of them work on their own? You understand? This information are important. Now, what are the kind of hair they do, right? From time to time. How many times do they come in maybe a quarter? You can't just say they come every weekend. They don't come every weekend. Not everybody come every weekend. How often? What's the routine? Then by the time you are looking at a year, how many people do you have any system to have them? How many the people that came, who brought them? So a simple, so let me give you an example. Let me give you a simple thing that is even less techy. Your WhatsApp business has what we call labels. Your WhatsApp business have what we call labels. You can start your gathering from that. You don't have to start very techy. You can design your your WhatsApp you can recreate and a label. I think the label on WhatsApp you can have up to 20 labels on your WhatsApp. First time customer, second time customer, third time customer, something like that. So you can have those kind of, if you want to focus on counting customers, how they return, the number of times they return. So you can have that. Secondly, you can have a label that defines this kind. And one customer can have multiple labels so that I can be sure I'm speaking what people understand. How many of you use WhatsApp business? How many of you use WhatsApp business? Do you use WhatsApp business in your business in engaging customers? There is what we call label. That label is actually to capture data. So good. So you can create. Do you have labels? You can create labels for your customer. Remember, the data you capture, you don't have to capture too many data. You can build it. It has to be a live stuff, a living system. From that WhatsApp business where you have labels, returning customer, first time customer, how can you tell who has referred a customer? This customer that is coming now, has he referred who brought him? Who brought that customer? You should be able to have a system. So on the application, on for instance, if you come to Local Eats Africa and you order food from any Calabar restaurant, if somebody introduced you, if you used a referral link, we will know because every user has a referral link. And when you use a referral link, right, to order, the person that whose link you used must have ordered before. When you use the link of that customer, that person gets a cashback credit. So the person knows that they shared link and the person also get a benefit from it. Now, what we are trying to do is you are introducing a system where you are also able to track if a customer refers somebody, then they have gone from being just ordinary customers to advocates or evangelists. That means they trust your product, they trust you. The relationship you have with them is different. It's different. So you should be able to use labels to capture, know your customers. You can know how many of them are working Monday to Friday. How many of them are running their own business? How many of them work from their homes, like hybrid job? That way you can start engaging some of them and telling them to come during Mondays and during weekdays. Even you can tell them, "Ah, if you come on Monday, oh, you this say you are doing now for 5,000 or 10,000. You can even do it for 8,500. Why you are doing that is so that you can create more opportunity for more people over the weekend. It is a system thing. That way, you can now have different segments of customers. So when you are going to call customers, you can even be on Monday when you are light, or on Tuesday when you are light, when you're ready, because you are still paying. Remember, your rent is calculated. Remember, your rent in your salon is calculated per day. That means you pay in the month, you pay yearly, but you have to break it down. How much are you making in a day? You can't just base your business on what you make over the weekend. Every 2 months, I try to share educational tips on my social media. How can I? Okay, before I go here, let me not miss those that I've answered. So, Shoye, I hope I was able to answer your question. You can now take it back to maybe you can now move it to Excel. Then your financial data, you can have other things around that as well. So, but this is even focused on customers. So, and you can use WhatsApp greatly for that. Then you can start leading those customers to other things. Now, um, what instrument can we use to make data decision? So since Excel is not micro mobility, hire purchase and tricycle fleet management. So first, your core customers. Who are your core customers? Are they the riders? Because I hear hire purchase. So most likely your customers are the riders, keke riders, and the tricycle riders. Those are your customers. So you want to be able to track payments, riders, good. So you want to be able to track payments. You want to be able to track where they come from. Let me tell you something. Um, there is a particular business, there's a particular startup, is a very big startup now. We still call them startup, right? Those are our big ones. So there's a particular startup that I know, I think they just celebrated 10 years. They hire from a particular university. They hire from a particular university because they see over time that people that come from that particular university tend to be different, not just in terms of skills wise, behavior, and innovation wise. So your keke people, there are cultural differences in every keke rider, in everybody. So you want to even know where are they coming from. Those that come on their own, those that come from, where do you get these bikes? Those that return more, what is the data that connects them together? It can help you know how to focus more on those people. Because if you are going to scale your higher purchase or your transport, you might have to take loan. And that is more risk. So you want to be able to de-risk your investment by saying that if I identify where my consistent, the people that return their money faster are coming from more numbers, then if I have 10 people and I have 5 bikes, how do I prioritize who I am going to assign the bike, give the bikes or the keke to? You already have information that shows that people from this particular place or that come through this particular place, they pay more, they pay faster, they don't give you issues, so you prioritize them first. So I'll give you a secret. Practically, on Local Eats Africa, we focus on three. We started out focusing on three types of cultural meals. So if you want to order Calabar food, you want to order Igbo food, you want to order Amala, like Yoruba meals, right? We focus on cultural meals, cultural restaurants. So we onboard these restaurants, these local restaurants. Now we realize in going out, in engaging vendors, we realized that it was easier to onboard a particular kind, restaurants that are from a particular culture. So what we did was that we switched our marketing and focused on what they call low hanging fruit. So we deep dive to, instead of going out and reaching out to all these three cultural restaurants, we focused on one particular one. So we realized that when we onboard 10 restaurants, 7 that is out of 10 we reach out to, if 5 agree, 3 or 4 of that 5 that agree are from one particular kind of restaurant. We just hold on to the rest and focus first on these ones. These ones are easy to work with first. That is the power of data. So you might want to look at your riders that way in terms of how they pay. You might want to look at in terms of where more volume of them come from. Who are able to refer more? Where are more of your referrals coming from? That means where they value the service, where your customers, if you bring a rider and that rider is not bringing anybody, that I still have a brother, I have a cousin, or one of my brother wants to, please, if you know any other, which people are making more of those demands, which people are bringing more ready riders, then you bring more of those people. So you have more data in those aspects. I'm just speaking in terms of that. Then in terms of managing the riders, managing them, you want to look at what locations are they in the same bus stops, the same area, are they covering the same route? Which routes are bringing in more returns? Where are your fail rates? Where are your accident prone areas? People that are in Ikeja, do you have some in Okudu? Do you have some in Magodo? Do you have some in, so these areas where you have these people, where are you at? You want to be able to capture their return also by the routes they ply. You also want to be able to capture by their returns. You also want to be able to capture by maybe risk issues, where they have less issues with security personnel, with road officers, and maybe accidents and all that. But you don't have to do capture all data at the same time. But you have to keep improving your data. The more intelligence you make from the data, the more you will see some things you need to know. So just to round up this, for Emadun, the more you know, the more you will know what you don't know. That's exactly what happens with data. So Abdurazak Dowi is saying, what's your advice for a school owner with the fear of getting loans to meet up extension needs or getting 21st century learning material due to low income? So, well, you have to analyze the current data you have to identify why do we have low income. That's actually that would be that would be my approach. I want to identify what's actually, are we running low on students? Are we having low quality teachers? That mean that people that can pay more are not in the school, parents that pay more are not in the school. What programs are we not running? What is the quality of the education we offer? So you can offer high quality to low income earners, then you have challenge with income, right? Because they can't pay. They have the value. You have the value. It's like putting what do you call it now? Putting a Lamborghini in Oshodi or Yanopaja to run traffic, to run taxi. They can't pay. Like, you understand? More Uber rides on the main areas of the city than the interlands. So you have to match your service with your customers. So I think the first question should not be about getting the loan. It should be about why are we having low income. So look at the data that you currently have. How many students do we have? How much are they paying? What's our expenses? How many customers? How many staff do we have? What are the core areas? What are the key staff? that we have? What are the quality? Maybe you can run a test to assess how the students perceive the teachers, to know, just assess your teachers. Like, that could also influence a lot of things, you know. So it could, you have to find why we have low income, right? And the focus should be on gathering that data. Then you can now, that information should influence what you are doing next. Because even if you get more loans and the cause, they say causative effect, that means the real cause, the root cause of that has not been addressed, that might be an issue. So I hope I was able to answer your question, Abdul Razak Idowu. I think it's a matter of finding out why you have low income first, not a matter of, that will allay your fears of getting loan and introducing 21st century learning materials. So Oluwatoyin Funke Oduneye, okay, I want to use label. Okay, yeah, good. I use label feature. It can also help in filtering. Good. Good afternoon, everyone. French lately. I am a French teacher, okay, and I prepared individuals get ready for exams and speak basic conversation. I have a wait list that I usually prepare when I have a group session. Yes, I get a lot of influx of individuals that sign up, but when it comes to payment, most of the wait lists are indecisive, probably insufficient budget, or the timing doesn't work for them. My name is French lately on Instagram. Every 2 months, I try and share educational tips on my social media. How can I improve my sales without reducing my quality or fee? With the data I currently have, how do I create an avatar for my business so I can speak directly to the clients online? Okay, so French, you want to find out what's the, is there, what, where is the demand for French, people that want to learn French? Where is the demand? Where are most of your requests coming from? That's one. French lately, if you have, if you have any other thing to share outside this, I'll be glad, because I can see your hand up. So, but let me just try and see. You are trying to increase sales without reducing quality and price. So you are trying to increase revenue users. So what, in 2 months? So what, when do you run your program? The ones that have successfully paid, what was good for them, right? So one thing is that clusters, there are clusters. So if you see, there is not a gimmick that a lot of musicians, Afrobeats, African sound is coming from Nigeria, right? Why? There's something about it. So people that study French, they have a cluster. They are somehow connected, right? So you want to also be able to see how do you connect with them. A lot of times, there's what we also call precipitate. Precipitate. What I mean by precipitate is that there are certain things you have to do offline to drive online. There are certain things you have to do offline to drive online. So you have to know from the data you have, those that have paid, where are they coming from? Which school are they attending? Where are their parents working? What is the kind of life? You understand? Then you want to find out how you can run free for those that have paid exclusively. So you can tell them, okay, for those that have paid, you can tell them to invite certain people, maybe they are friends, and you do a 2-day free session for them. What you are trying to do is that people that have paid, when they bring people, those people are most likely going to pay because they know people that have paid. So you are not offering them the full. So you are trying to now refocus your energy to paying customers. So that is one. And there might be other ways. You want to look at your data as well. Maybe the information you take when you speak to to them, where are they coming from? Which location? Where are they? Even if it's a virtual stuff, where are they coming from? Right? So location can matter. I remember if you do home lesson and you are conversant with home lesson, you understand that there are certain schools. If you go to a British school that run British curriculum and all that, you are most likely to get students that want to do home lesson and they will pay well, as compared to you are talking to parents that have their kids in public schools, right? So who are paying? Are you talking to adults, or are you talking to younger students, people that are still in school, or people that just left school? Who is paying for the people that are attending? And why are they paying? Why do they want to take the course? It will help to speak more to people that are in that category, that avatar. So in creating an avatar for your business, you have to identify your ideal customers. And since you have done some products before, you have done some of these services before, you have people that have paid, maybe you run free, you want to find out why they are not paying or why they applied. So it can help you carve a proper avatar. So that data can help you carve a proper avatar for your customers. I hope I was able to speak to that. And there's one thing I mentioned, maybe so that you don't miss it. Don't just run stuff on. You can precipitate with a physical stuff. We are still very physical in nature, human beings. No matter the technology, we are still very human. Human at its core is not technology; it's personal connection. Okay, I would like to discuss with you later. I'm Dr. Fatima. Okay, all right. Okay, madam. I'm glad to speak and connect with everyone here and with you, Dr. Monaya Jo. I hope I pronounced your name very well. My contact is right on the screen and on WhatsApp. You can chat me up on WhatsApp, and that's my mail. I hope you can see my screens. Thank you. So, Adults Canada UK, great. So you have to look at your data very well. In Lagos, I did a free class, which will. Sorry, I'm not trying to come at you, right? I'm just trying to see how we can get more information. So, if anybody has paid, they most likely have somebody that will pay. So, how can I have more customers during week like that weekend during festive period? So, yeah, I think I just mentioned you have to identify your current customers. Your current customers you can split them. Your current customers, and you can make it's not every time you make offer. But what I mean is that somebody that has paid, if you give them offer, it's better than to give offer. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on what I just said now. But just hear what I said. Don't quote me verbatim. Somebody that has paid, it is better to give them an offer to come and test another product than somebody that has not paid and you are giving them an offer. Example, Google. If you want to run Google ads and you want to get discounts, you must first run ads with your money before they give you the discount. They will tell you, spend this money in 60 days and we will match the amount and give it back to you. But they know that that number they are giving to you, by the time you finish, you will see the benefits. There's what we call break even. So if you can get your customers to break even, to understand that point. Okay. Yes, sir, is it advisable to get an Ether router to the shop? Well, I may not be able to answer that question because I don't understand. I don't have data about your customers. That's a question that should come from data you want to gather. You understand? Are they complaining about internet? Are you trying to offer better customer service? And to what end? Is it connected straight with your revenue or to the pool of people, new customer attraction? What exactly is the purpose of that? So, and I always advise business people to read books. Please, I always advise business people to read books. Please, by all means possible. By all means possible, you have to read books. Thank you very much. And my name is Fashola Oba Ashedolo, co-founder of Localis Africa. So if you like afang soup, if you like amala, if you like idikaikon, if you like cultural meals, you can check out Localis South Africa, and you can make orders right there. Also, if you run if you from your home, you want to turn your home to a restaurant, you want to make money from your kitchen, or you have a restaurant, or you know people that have local restaurants, particularly local restaurants on their menu, local meals on their menu, they can sign up for free on Localis South Africa. I really appreciate the opportunity by Lagos State Employment Trust Fund to be here and be part of this session. Thank you, everyone, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fashola, for that very insightful session. It was very insightful, and then it was very, very educative. And I'm sure the participants can testify that it was a very insightful session. Thank you very much for always taking out time whenever we reach out to you to take our sessions. And thank you, everybody, for joining this session today. join us same time next week for sessions like this. We do these sessions to help business owners so you know what is working for your business, how you should mitigate factors, what risks you should work with, what are those legal factors you should work with, what are those things you need to check if you're making profit or you're making losses in your businesses. That's what we do in during sessions like this. So thank you very much for that session. So if you have not taken down Mr. Fasholauba's contact, it is still displayed on the screen. You can reach out to him via email or WhatsApp, and I'll just also, drop it in the chat box so that you can just copy it now, and then his email address too. So you can just copy it and then, reach out to him if you have any other question. So I've sent it to everybody. Thank you very much. In the absence of no questions, we'll call it a day and look forward to seeing you next time, next week, Tuesday and Wednesday for our advisory sessions and master classes. Thank you very much and do have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.